Hey, good morning. This is Joe Shetterley with the Concrete Podcast. I'd like to welcome you this morning. I'm here with my co-host, Joel Cookston.
Hello, sir. Good morning to you.
I also want to introduce today a very special friend to me. One that's been with me for almost 11 years now. Mr. James Render, welcome to the third episode
Jim.
of the podcast.
My heavens.
Hello, guys.
It's been a long time.
So we're going to have some fun today.
Does it show?
Yeah.
And it should be interesting.
That the three of us have been together for so long, it probably shows on the face a little bit.
Yeah.
A couple of wrinkles.
And that's probably a great place to start. First, I want you, Mr. Render, to give your background. Give us how you got actually into the concrete industry. What made you
What pulled you in? What sucked you in to the abyss?
My background. I grew up with in an aggregate family. And so I understood construction. I went on concrete paving jobs that my father supplied when I was 11, 12 years old. I went to concrete plants with my dad where he supplied the aggregate when I was 13, 14 years old. So I knew about the concrete industry. My dad's background was my dad was a civil engineer. Thus, I'm a civil engineer. My dad never used his civil engineering education as a professional engineer, never worked for an engineering company. He worked for material suppliers and had a great life. Okay?
Yeah.
I graduated from Auburn University in 1979.
You are very proud. Very proud.
Very
of the
proud Auburn guy right
I
here.
am a very proud Auburn guy.
Every presentation, yes.
A lot of times I actually wear my colors
Yes, sir.
when I present, especially down south.
Sorry to all you Alabama fans.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't bring up Roll
Bleep
Tide.
some of that out.
Don't bring up Roll Tide. In any case, I got out of school. I got a job. My first job in the concrete industry was in Florida. I did a power plant, the Seminole power plant for Florida Rock Industries. That I was the tech service guy. I ended up being the plant service guy more than tech service. But I also covered 5 concrete plants across Central Florida. From there, I went in the admixture business, worked for W.R. Grace for almost 10 years, started in Kansas, where I learned that concrete isn't the same everywhere.
You don't say.
Yeah.
Wow. Shocker.
Western Kansas, the first time I saw concrete being poured in curb, I asked him why they were using grout. Because there's no rock in Western Kansas or Western Nebraska. And so because of that, they don't use very much rock.
Wow.
Transferred to Louisville, Kentucky, which is my hometown where I grew up, and worked for Grace there. Eventually started a consulting company there. One of my largest customers bought all my customers. They bought 9 of my customers, and I had my consulting business in one day.
Oh my. Oh my.
And they didn't need me, so I went back to working again. I worked for Euclid Chemical for a couple of years, and then I got an opportunity in the cement business. And I worked in the cement business as tech service and then as director of sales for 15 years and then finished doing marketing work.
Okay.
Wow. So my background was perfect for when I ran into the craziest person I've ever met,
Joel. Good.
Joe Shetterley.
Well, before we get to where you first met me, there's a couple of questions I want to ask you about your beginning. I want to explain to the audience how important the most I should say the highest percentage of material used in our concrete is aggregate. I think it's we're not taught enough about it,
Right.
how important it is.
Right.
And you've taught me how important aggregate is.
Yes.
Just give our audience a little background how important the aggregate is and what we really need to look for in a mix. If the aggregate maybe be out of percentages, or what can they do to help?
Well, I mean, the biggest misconception is, do aggregates have to meet a certain gradation? Yes, total gradation. But I have worked, I did a 7,000 yard mass pour with, out of 3 different plants with 3 different sets of aggregates, and made the concrete look the same. And the one in the middle that poured 65-70% of the concrete, neither of the 3 aggregates were in specification. Yet the total gradation was fine.
Okay.
The second thing is, the biggest problem with aggregate is, are they clean? The second
fines.
biggest problem is, are they saturated? And especially because of the EPA, when I got in the concrete industry, everybody soaked their coarse aggregate. In today's world with the EPA, if the water goes off your property, it has to be a certain pH, it has to be a certain clarity. Because of that, people have stopped soaking aggregate. So now you have a mix that the coarse aggregate isn't saturated and it's already sucking water.
Thirsty.
And when it's thirsty and you don't put enough water in to start with, the concrete heats up.
Yeah.
You lose all kinds of things that are, and again, you brought me lots of information about finishing, being a contractor that I didn't understand.
Right, and that's one of my questions to you now. It's like a lot of our audience and finishers don't have the resources or the education to understand aggregates, the importance of the saturation, the
Yes.
water around the aggregates. It is very important to our finishability, our workability, our shrinkage cracking, our plastic shrinkage cracking, all that.
Yeah.
And in today's high speed, high schedule, really fast, it is very complicated for ready mix producers to perfect that
Yes.
method. So, again, once that information is got out to the finishers, then they can ask better questions, and then they can ask their ready mix producer or work with their ready mix producer to make sure that that aggregate is in compliance and gives them the best chance of finishability. As a finisher, I did not know that back then at all. I did not understand the aggregates till I met you. And once I started, I'm like, oh, there's a lot of water issues going on within the aggregate.
The biggest deal is the water issues. And the second part is, because I grew up in an aggregate family, slowly over the last 50 years, the specifications for aggregates have become very friendly for the aggregate companies. Okay? So you have gap graded materials that make it very difficult to do what we used to do, which was one rock, typically a 57 stone, and one sand, and make a good mix. Because all the rock from the 57s is now ½ inch. And the sand has gotten finer because they're pulling the gravel out. Okay? So it's hard to make a mix with just 2 aggregates. For the best concretes I've seen in the United States, and I've been all over the United States, it's usually a blend of 3 aggregates, sometimes even 4 aggregates.
So you said the specifications have gotten friendlier. What
Well,
break that down.
Okay. Just like our Congress is lobbied by special interest groups, DOTs and ASTM are lobbied by special interest groups.
Sure.
And so the aggregate companies would rather not use when they crush the material, use 85%, they would rather use 95%. So what was used
Less
to be
waste.
wasted
Less waste, yeah.
is now used. Okay,
Which doesn't always mean better.
Well, for concrete especially,
Yep.
and for most aggregate people, they would rather not sell concrete. Concrete aggregate.
Interesting.
Why? Well, asphalt aggregate doesn't need to be washed.
Throw it in there.
Washing makes a huge mess.
Yeah.
Well, it gives back to your EPA
Resources,
Yes.
time, money. Yep.
So they would rather not wash it. Okay. We are really concerned about gradations because, again, a lot of concrete plants don't have very many bins. If you go to an asphalt plant, how many bins do they have? Usually about 7. Okay? They're blending all kinds of aggregates to make the best asphalt.
Interesting. Yeah.
Because of their process, that's pretty easy to do. Because of our process, we usually have 3 or maybe 4 bins. But much
Limited,
harder.
limited, yeah.
And again, you have the difference between gravel and stone. And you didn't understand the difference between gravel and stone.
No, not at the beginning of this for sure.
Right.
As finishers, as we do, we think concrete's concrete.
Right.
Mixed designs, and we just do what we're told.
Right.
You take what you're given.
We've been indoctrinated that the people that are designing it knows more than we do.
They do. They do.
They do at a certain point, but they don't understand the variables that we go through in the field that need adjustments that can be adjusted at the beginning so they can translate to the back to us.
Right.
So, with that said, aggregates are very important.
Yes.
I encourage all the finishers to really start talking to your aggregate companies. Just get knowledgeable about it. Understand it. So you can have a educated conversation with your producer. So that way you guys can not be bickering so much between each other because you're on the same
But can the
field of
finisher actually
education.
control the aggregate that comes from their ready-mix supplier?
No,
right?
they
can't.
can't.
They can't. But they can be aware of maybe this gap gradation does this to finishing, and this.
Correct.
Goes so I mean, they can at least see
It's getting
the
educated
product.
on what is going on.
And again, because of the lack of bin space in a concrete plant, they might not have any choice.
Right.
Second thing is, do we buy the best aggregates for concrete? Typically not. I mean, it's all about cost.
Right.
And especially since most of, look, I worked in the ready mix business twice. I knew what my concrete looked like and what it was when it hit the ground. Okay?
As far as slump workability, those things, is you're saying?
Yeah.
Like you could just see it.
We delivered good concrete that went on the ground. I have no idea whether that concrete was finishable because no one from the ready mix company ever stays
Yeah.
until they actually finish the concrete. And I know we'll get into it. The admixture companies, put in finishing aids that aren't finishing aids at all. They're aids to placement, not to finish.
Well, it's a good place to go from the
Yes.
aggregates. Now let's talk about your background in the admixture world.
Okay.
So just your time in the admixture world and what you've seen there, I'm sure it's a big difference from then to now, what we're going through, especially material changes.
And going from Grace to Euclid,
yeah.
there was a size differential, correct, in those two companies, or were they primarily about the same size at the time?
When Grace was multinational, Euclid, after they were bought by RPM, was multinational. Euclid was not as dominant in the admixture business as Grace at the time. Now they've become one of the bigger players. The admixture game focused primarily on strength. You had air entrainment, which is the bane of all admixture suppliers.
And wouldn't you agree that air admixtures are about 90% of our problems in the concrete, trying to chase those down?
From an admixture perspective, they're 90% of the problem. 90. because as the materials change, your dosage changes. The air product didn't change; it's the same. But a gradation change in sand or a gradation change, in rock where there's a bunch of fines in the rock, all of a sudden the air dosage changes. Again, looking at it today, the admixture companies ignored the finisher. Okay, and
Who would you say their primary customer was? The admixture. Would it be the engineers chasing strength?
No. The admixture company's primary customer is the ready mix company.
Correct.
Okay,
Chasing strength.
And so, why do they concentrate on strength? Because that allows the ready mix company to take out the most expensive ingredient in the mix, which is cement. Okay. And again, my thought process when I got in this was that it was higher strength was better. I learned that from you. Higher strength is not better, and I've got examples everywhere now to prove that.
Now, where did you think that mantra came from? Like higher strength is better. Was that indoctrinated at the college level? Was it through your?
Well, let's back up. I'm a civil engineer.
Right. I know.
I had about 4 hours of concrete in my engineering career. Today,
that's crazy.
Programs like the CIM program at Middle Tennessee State, Chico State, I think it's one in New Jersey. Those are great programs because they actually teach people about concrete.
Not just 4 hours.
As an engineer, what I got was the ability to think logically. Okay, to think in a straight line. Okay, now. Working with Joe, that doesn't always work.
Is that a straight line, Jim? Is that a straight line working with Joe?
No. But
my mind's not a straight line. Straight line, that's for sure.
But it's a yin and yang.
But back to the admixtures. Because of the way we've done things, water cement ratios, things like that, there's a concentration on strength. And if you ask 90% of the cement people ready mix people in the United States, they would say that 5,000 psi concrete is better than 4,000. They would say that 6,000 is better than 4,000. Okay, and what I've learned is it depends on the application. I've seen an enormous amount of specifications that are awful, especially. Conflicting specifications. Things like data centers.
Oh, heavens.
Okay, a data center specifies 4,000 psi for the floor. Okay, and then specifies a 0.45 water cement ratio
with 423 pounds of cement.
No.
Super low race to the bottom.
Making the producer put in to make 7,000 psi concrete when all they needed is 4. Does the 7,000 cause more problems in a floor than the 4? Absolutely. More shrinkage, more cracking, more curling, all of the things you don't want in a floor.
Heat of hydration,
yeah. And they put out specifications that have unrealistic water cement ratios. And then low GWP.
Oh yeah.
I'm putting in 150 pounds extra powder that is not needed because of your water cement ratio, and now you tell me, lower the GWP.
We're
so
ripping
now
out
I've got to put in
putting glass pozzolans in or whatever.
I've got to put in a bunch of pozzolan.
Yep.
Okay, that the finisher can't finish.
No.
And
waiting for it to
We have a mess.
And it's a specification mess that is easy to correct if people understand. I do presentations to architects and engineers all across the country.
Yes, you do.
And 90% of them, when I bring up simple questions like, are you aware of type 1L cement?
What's that?
I did an
Isn't
engineer-
this an interesting segue to talk about your cement background?
Here we
So,
go.
with
Here we
that,
go.
I'm going to ask a couple questions.
Sure.
I like talking about 1L cement. Absolutely love it. So, you started with S-Rock,
S-Rock.
and
started
give them a
in-
little background on the S-Rock, how you got, what it is, and then kind of explain from what you dealt with to what we're dealing with now. What's that animal we're dealing with now with 1L versus what we had been dealing with?
Okay. I went to work for S-Rock as a tech service engineer, a regional tech service manager, and did that for several years. I have, because of my engineering background and because I'm a concrete geek. Okay, I'm a concrete geek.
Eat, sleep,
I've gone
breathe it.
to thousands of seminars where I actually learned about concrete, and I learned at the feet of really good people who
Not the elitist, Joe.
who mean well, okay, but only had one perspective of the business, and that
Their
was
niche. Their niche, right?
Yeah, their niche was concrete tested air, slump, unit weight, cylinders.
And with all what you just described,
Right.
gives us no visibility on how it's going to be finished.
No, absolutely not. You're absolutely right. And so that was actually the reason that our little marriage of this. I've been working with you as a consultant for
Over 10 years.
10 years. Works because
He wanted to say,
Well,
and it's been heck every
He was
since.
trying to find the right word.
no.
Oh, what are they trying to
Look, there's in a lot of companies they don't value a different perspective than
agree with us or leave.
agree with
Right.
us or leave.
Right.
And I worked for multinationals.
Oh, corporate world, that's how they think.
The longer I was there, the more they said, why don't you shut up?
Right.
Because again,
Pipe down, Jim.
my background is, I tell the truth. And if
Very
we screw up,
transparent.
I'm going to tell the truth. I'm not going to.
You won't sugarcoat it, that's
I don't
for sure.
sugar-
And
No,
if
I
others
don't
screw up,
sugarcoat
he
anything.
lets us know
And,
too.
and
But
some of my...
I also don't try to insult people. I try to make sure that I make my point tactfully,
Well, that's
and
where
that's
we
where
differ.
you and I differ.
Well, I mean, do you?
Okay.
Maybe it's just a different way, a different vehicle. It's
Oh, it's definitely a
No,
different
no, no.
vehicle.
it's dressed
It's
differently.
a different perspective.
Yeah.
It's a different
And that's what
perspective.
makes, that's
Right.
what makes the whole world go
But the
round.
delivery
It is a different
I don't find you an
perspective.
insulting
Okay.
person.
Okay, so you asked the question about cement.
Yeah.
Okay. I started in the 80s in the cement business. It was real late 80s. It was a great place to work. There was a lot of care for, and pride in what we did. And we made a product that was a very good. Okay,
So-
what's changed? Hold on.
I want to interrupt you on that. So one thing you just said that I think's been missing from our whole thing, you just said it. You guys took pride and care
made a good product.
in what you did back then in the 80s.
Yes, and I'm not saying that they don't take pride and care in what they're doing now.
Right.
Okay, you're missing a point
Okay.
here. Okay, we've had an enormous change in our whole in the whole construction industry. Okay, number one, we went from schedule acceleration because of the cost of money has caused people to have to go faster and faster. And because of that, the cement's got finer and finer and finer. When I started, I think we were at 335 or 340 Blaine. Today, an ordinary Portland cement is over 400. In the old days, you couldn't go over 400. There was a spec that said no.
And talk for a second. Why have we gotten finer? Is it to accelerate that reaction? Is that what you're getting to?
Well, that if you want to go faster, you have to get your strength quicker. Okay, So over the course of my 20 years, we went in little bitty
incremental that you could barely tell. You couldn't tell.
Nobody told.
It was a slow fade to that 600-700.
And again, it had to do with our competition. If your cement set faster and gained strength faster than my cement, then my cement wasn't as good. Okay, bump the blame. Bump the blame.
Which means what, more money spent on manufacturing?
So there you got caught in the same game because you didn't reach strength fast. In the ready mix world, if there were stronger concrete, the competitor wanted their concrete just as strong or better. So the cement industry was no different.
Right.
It was the same game.
So
strength.
As a group, the cements all got finer and finer. Okay. That's
just because they were
really
chasing each other, right?
And again, did it cause an enormous problem in the industry? Not really. Okay.
Okay. It didn't cause a disruption in the cement industry, but I want to ask you, what disruption did it cause in the field or in the
did you even know?
finishing industry? Or did you even know?
Did you even know?
Didn't know.
Okay.
We didn't know.
Yeah, no one knew, I don't think.
No. Okay. And again, because it went in such little increments,
right?
Nobody noticed.
No.
Okay. Then all of a sudden,
nobody noticed.
The environmentalist said global warming, and
the sirens go off.
And again, we ignored it for 25, 30 years. Okay, and finally, everybody goes, yeah, it's this is getting kind of bad. Okay, so the cement industry is the second most
contributor
of CO2. Okay.
Or at least that's what they say.
Well, no. That's pretty much what everybody says. Right. It's power plants.
Yeah.
And then cement. And why?
The kilns.
To make a ton of clinker, it takes about a ton of coal. Okay?
You're burning.
Yep. You're burning some kind of fuel.
Right.
All right. So.
And to make those finer blanes was more resources.
No. Clinker stayed the same. It was just a little bit more dwell in the grinding mill. Okay, so it cost, and again, because it was an incremental, nobody really even noticed at the cement plant.
Didn't even see it on the books.
Right. And at that time, we started to see grinding aids becoming more and more prevalent, and so you might be able to put a grinding aid in that would allow you not to up your blane without causing
additional grinding.
It's not slowing you down.
Sure. Okay. And that's a point that you make a lot about grinding aids. So
yes, that's a different episode.
But that's a different episode. So we finally get to global warming time, and the cement companies globally have made commitments because most of the cement companies are multinational. Okay,
and what year was this? What year was this, Jim? You felt like
the shift started to happen. The cement companies knew the shift was coming, and so
coming from
who? We were going to have to change. Okay, the regulations and again, do you want to wait until somebody says
you have to do
this
right
by this date?
Right.
No.
Then you're under the
so
gun.
the cement companies were very smart. They're watching. They're playing the game, and we were at S-Rock. We were making a lower carbon cement 20 years ago. We sold it not for ready mix, but we sold it in different applications, like soil stabilization. It worked fabulously. Okay, but we could see it. You could see it was coming down the pike. Okay. And the only way that the cement companies could make it work was to get ASTM to agree and get the states to agree. Okay? And as soon as the states agreed, they started taking out clinker and putting in more limestone. Okay? It's called a 1L cement. They're not going anywhere. They're going to be around. To meet the global warming goals that the cement companies have set for themselves so
right.
that they didn't get regulated by the government. They have to lower the clinker content. Their first move is limestone. The second move will be adding pozzolans. They're already doing it, and slowly but surely, you know, to meet their goals, now.
So, to your knowledge, there's no necessarily a regulation that's mandating the cement companies to do this. They did this on their own to kind of prevent a regulatory behavior. Is
Yes.
that correct? Okay.
Yes.
So, and at the end of the day, everything that I hear, and this is just because on the last 4 years that I've been just kind of diving into 1L Cements, when people are making these judgment calls, they're making these judgment calls for their industry.
For their niche.
For
Right,
their industry,
like
whether it's
cement,
the cement. They're
ag,
not really,
chemical.
no one really thinks about if I change X here, what is that ball that rolls all the way down the hill and how
finished
does
product.
it affect here
Right.
at the finished product?
Right.
Everybody is segment thinking. Admixtures,
Which
think
at some
about the
point, yeah, you have
admixture.
to.
But when you put it all together, someone has to realize that, hey, I changed something here. Man, I just catapulted a whole bunch of problems down here.
Yeah, and again, there were.
And that's the customer to me.
Well, and again, did the cement companies purposefully cause a problem? No, and again, because no one in the cement industry goes out and watches you finish concrete. No one in the ready mix produce.
I'm sure there's somebody, but yes, the
very few
majority
go to the final product. And so they really didn't understand. And one of the biggest problems was when you're, and we've been putting limestone in cement for.
Oh, it's in type 1. It's just at a very lower percentage
It's
rate.
at a very, it's at less than 5%.
Which to me is still the perfect recipe because.
It was. And a lot of people don't know this, but up to 5%. Limestone addition actually improves permeability, it lowers permeability, and it actually increases strength. So it was the perfect place.
It was a good balance. It was a good balance.
Now, going higher is raising the permeability, and at some point you're going past where we were at 0, and lowering strength.
And
again, the reason it's lowering strength is because it's taking more water.
So, with that, that's a good point to transition. On the first day that you got exposed to E5 back in 2000.
Element 5, it was called.
It was called Element 5 back then.
Element 5.
That was in 2015 on a slab placement tour that you came and watched.
I did.
It was a sunny day.
That was your first experience. And as your first meeting me, that slab was the first time that we met.
Yeah, some days I rue that day.
Well. But tell me, describe what you've seen that day and just kind of what you're...
And again, you were a finisher that had a lot more knowledge, a lot more want to learn than any finisher I had ever met. Okay? The second thing was you had discovered through a good friend of our both.
Yep.
We mentioned him last time.
Yeah.
Mr. Chris Wolf.
Mr. Chris Wolf, yes. You had discovered something that might change the industry. And I didn't realize how far this would go, but it was a topical, and you were putting it on the concrete, and it did things that I couldn't understand. I mean, you took concrete that was already set and brought it back to life, and I was amazed.
Yeah, I remember that day because I was out there finishing. I had a little hole, and I seen Jim over. He's over there watching like this, looking around.
And you didn't know each other at the time.
Yeah, we just met each other that
Right,
day, and I went like this. He walked out there on that slab, and I took that trowel, and I showed him that, and he was like, "No way,
Turned back to butter.
just no way." So from that day on, I think the bug hooked him. Like, what is this?
Well-
like, what is going on?
Okay. So I was still working for a cement company.
Yeah.
And my cement company got bought. Okay. And I went out in the consulting world, but I kept an eye on you until I started my consulting business. And I immediately started working with you.
Yep.
And we have one of the more novel relationships of anybody on the planet, because most of the time I'm yelling, you're not, but I brought you knowledge of what you didn't know, and you brought me knowledge
Yes.
of what I
It
didn't.
was a working
Yeah, and that's why the
relationship.
relationship's always been very good, because we could get on the phone, disagree to agree, but yet come out the end, we're trying to create a better unity for finisher, producer, cement, everybody coming together so that the end product.
Oh yeah, you
lasts
both are so
longer.
passionate about your camps.
Yes.
Yes.
Right. I mean,
Very.
you are very passionate people,
Yes.
and so when two passionate people get together and they can find some, similarity.
Common ground.
Common ground in maybe this new thing that we found, or that was the common ground that united you both, and you both were then passionate about something together.
Yeah, 'cause
but still,
Well, this
Very
is always
camp
our,
related.
this is always our common disagreement, and we've got better on this disagreement. It's
have
like,
you?
I think so.
I don't.
I do. So one is,
this is great.
who's the customer? For me, mine's different perspective than his.
The customer is who pays us.
And I look at it different, because at the end, the
That's a good
concrete
point, Jim.
finisher has the contract. He's bankrolling the project.
Hmm.
And no one's getting paid until that guy gets paid. And if that
Or
guy
until
don't
that guy
get
does it
paid,
right.
this guy ain't getting paid, and then it works uphill. I might sell it to the ready mix producer, but at the end, he charges the finisher, and the finisher charges the person that's holding the contract. And that's where I look at and go, man, if I don't keep that guy in a position of winning, no one's getting paid ever, because the money's coming back up, and the finisher's going, if I can't finish this mix, how am I going to get paid? Nobody's going to get paid if they can't finish the mix. So I had to eat a lot of crow many times, because I didn't understand his side. Like, I didn't understand the cement. I didn't understand the ready-mix
side.
industry.
Right.
But I understood the ready-mix industry from my point of view of being in the field for 25 years.
Receiving this product.
Now, I can say that I worked with a very good producer for most of my career, a producer that cared about my field experience.
Yes.
I can't say the same for every other one of them.
Right.
But here we go into the bucket word. Okay, I will label them as the industry. They're all in it. My producer that did me well, I consider him in that same bucket. They're all the same, bad or good. But at the end of the day, if a finisher can't finish the mix, no one's getting paid. And what Jim we were back and forth learning is that, water reducers and this and that, and why I had to do things to
Chemical
get paid. And he
strengths,
was like,
yeah.
well, I never really thought about that. But then when he would say something, I go, well, I never thought about that either. But if I tweak that, that'll make that. So that's how the relationship started to be. Now, to the day, we still disagree that who the customer is.
There is some disagreement.
But that's okay. I can live with
because
that.
you both are very passionate about your people.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
at
that's
the end
important.
Of the day, we're all just trying to.
And I think you
give
both
a
can
product.
also agree that both camps are the customer.
Well, and
There's
and
a
let
little
me-
bit of a little bit.
I would
of
agree with both are the customer.
Yes.
I would
Let
agree
me
with
let
that.
me share my viewpoint.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm 69 years old. Why am I still? I'm going to turn 70 next month.
What are you
why
still
am I-
doing here?
Why am I still doing this?
Yeah. Should be golfing.
And
in
Chris
Boca.
Wolf and I have talked about this multiple times. This is my legacy. I can do something to change the industry for the good. Okay?
Amen.
I sold chemicals, and I made money for my company. I worked in ready-mix companies, and I made money for my company. I worked in the cement industry, and I made money for my company, but I had no legacy. Okay, did I leave the... My dad and I had a rocky... My dad and I had a relationship like me and Joe.
Well, good. It worked out great.
Okay.
That's why you guys like each other so much.
But my dad used to say something. It was mostly about golf, but it was really about life. And he said, leave the golf course in better shape than when you walked on it. If you made a divot in the green, you fixed the hole. Maybe fixed one other one that somebody didn't fix.
That's right.
Okay? Well, I want to do something for the industry to make it better. And I believe that the technology that we have developed is changing the industry for the good. It's going to, I said this in front of a group last week. I believe in 10 years, nanosilica will be in 90% of the concrete in the United States. It is that good, and it's going to change the industry. What's the problem with our industry?
That's a loaded question.
We are full of hard-headed people who don't change very easily.
No.
I've been doing, and one of my favorite calls, very early on, was a gentleman in the concrete industry, technical guy in the Northwest, and he said, "I've been in this industry 45 years, and you can't teach me anything."
Ooh. Wow. That's not a very good
Okay.
statement.
Wow. Nothing's changed.
So nothing's going to change for them. Well, with the changes in materials that we're seeing, with the issues that have come up, we solve a lot of those issues. We just have to get a very stodgy, staid industry to understand and accept it. And
when you say
hold on.
that let's just rephrase. So we means the product, colloidal nanosilica, solves a lot of the problems, is what you're getting
Yes.
at. Yes. Okay.
So with that said, before you got involved with us,
Right.
you would say that you were part of that traditional mindset.
oh no,
group.
no, no, there was no doubt.
Yeah.
I mean,
So where was it for you where it flipped and said, "Oh no, I can't stay in this state. This is new. This is the
well,
future."
it took probably 2 or 3 years of you and I arguing with each other about, our first huge argument came about water cement ratios.
Oh yeah. Oh
and,
yeah.
and you kept saying to me, Jim, the water cement ratios have to go up. We need more water. And if we're using that water correctly, it's not bad for the concrete.
Right.
Great.
And I go, yeah, but we've got ACI and the industry standards. And slowly I came around, and slowly we started to look at this. I thought this was going to be mostly an interior commercial product. Today, I think any flat work that's being done, interior, exterior, I don't care, needs what we're doing.
Absolutely. And when we would go back through those water cement arguments, the industry might perceive me as hard-headed, arrogant, this or that, whatever. I don't care about that. What it is I had to do unorthodox things to convince a guy that this is the right thing to do. Sometimes you have to go over the edge to
Yes.
look crazy to get someone in that
Make a
traditional
change. Make a
mindset to
change.
kind of look and go, I need to think about this for a minute. But I had to get it planted so that they could start thinking about it. Yeah, I'm going to have to look crazy. I'm going to have to look way out to the far for a while, so that people will actually start
Go
turning
against the
their head to
norm.
go, hey, maybe I'm going to test it. Maybe they test it and they start seeing a difference. To shatter through a traditional mindset, it's almost impossible.
Right.
It is hard.
It's like a glass
It's very
ceiling.
It is.
Yes.
And this industry is by far hard to get through.
Staunch.
Yeah, but you know what? I've been doing engineering presentations, structural engineering presentations for virtually the entire time. I think our first one was in Indianapolis. It was probably Structure Point.
Yeah, Structure Point.
Or either that or Meyer Nation.
Yep.
And from that point to today, it is unbelievable the difference in the mindset of the people I'm talking to, where they were, you might get one guy in the room that was buying in and the rest of them are shaking their head. Today, I'm getting buy-in from the room. They understand.
Do you think that's age? Do you think that's
I was saying the same thing. Is it a
career path,
generational
thing, Jim, or do you think it's just
you
because
see the generations changing?
No,
the environment is changing around them? They can feel it.
I thought that the young people would be the ones that would buy in.
Right.
Really?
But amazingly, it's some of the older guys that are understand that the engineering world is cut and paste. Okay.
Okay. Should you actually say that? We have to bleep that out.
No,
we don't. That's what they do.
That's what they do. I'm an engineer. Okay. I have lots of engineering friends that do this for a living. For each project, do they go through and write a new specification? No. They take a section and this is a pretty similar project. We'll just take this one and paste it in here. Okay? Because of that, a lot of them really don't understand what they've done. They don't understand that they specified a water cement ratio that was wrong. My favorite thing to ask is, can you explain to me why you specified this water cement ratio? And usually I get a deer in the headlights look, and they go, well,
because that's what we've been specifying.
That's what
right?
we specified it on many projects. And I said, okay.
You still haven't answered my question.
Yeah.
So why?
Why?
Right.
And I bring up the example of Republic Industries, okay? Trash transfer stations, okay? The ugliest use of concrete on the planet.
Amen on
You're
that
going to
one.
bring a truckload of trash in, all kinds of stinky crap, milk, chemicals, and you're going to dump it on this floor, and then you're going to move it around with a loader and scrape
it.
And then you're going to process it and move on. Okay. And I looked at the specifications that were coming out for those floors, and they were extremely low water cement ratios, either 0.45 or 0.40. And they usually had some type of hardener on them, a liquid hardener, and they usually
Microsilica?
had microsilica because the industry thought stronger was better.
More durable.
Yet the specification was 4,000 PSI. And so I went and looked at a floor, and they had torn this floor out every 18 months for 7 years. Every 18 months, they were replacing the floor. Okay? And I asked the ready mix company if they had the brakes. And the brakes averaged between 8,500 and 9,000 PSI. And the floor was being taken out every year and a half.
Now, that didn't obviously bother the ready mix company because they were making a residual income over 18
And
months.
you thought I was going to have a different
No,
That wasn't their goal, I understand.
No.
But
the ready mix company actually bought into this. Which, again, you're right. Many ready mix companies would say this is repeat business.
This is good for us.
This is good for us.
Yeah.
These didn't. These people said we'd like to make a floor that would last better, and obviously making it stronger isn't doing that. We suggested a mixed design. It broke, I think, between 52 and 5,500. It had at least 100 pounds less powder. No silica fume.
Water cement ratio?
Water cement ratio was 0.52. And the floor is now 4 years old.
No topical?
No.
Right?
No
Topical.
hardener.
No hardeners.
We're changing their thinking, okay? And they've seen this floor works, and now it's a national spec.
Right.
Same thing with Kroger.
We see it happen a lot.
They're recognizing that to make a good floor, they don't need it to curl. They don't need
They
it
don't
to
want it to,
crack.
no, right.
They want to polish it and they want it to stay flat. And so they've bought into our recommendations. Over the next 10 years, even the hardest-headed people will start to understand.
Absolutely.
The exterior is harder because people think the water cement ratios are rules, and they're not.
Well, and is exterior
They're
more of a race to the bottom where
guidelines.
they don't have enough budget to put in extra things in the mix to make it more durable? I mean, is it a budget constraint for paving and sidewalks and things like that?
No, because when it comes down to it, our material really doesn't cost the owner anything.
It shouldn't.
No.
It doesn't cost the owner
shouldn't.
anything. But again, we have to overcome mindset. We have to overcome objections,
Fear.
and a lot of people look at our technology and they go, "Well, it's just it goes again.
He's choosing his
It's
words.
disruptive."
It is disruptive.
Extremely.
And again,
And why is it disruptive? I mean, why would you label this product as disruptive?
Yeah, that's a great question, Joel. Why is it
why?
disruptive?
Yeah.
Because
What does it do?
conventional thinking. Like the guy in Northwest. I've learned everything I need to learn and go away. This is new technology that is revolutionizing. That's why I still use that
Term.
that slide.
Yeah.
And I call it the revolution because it's changing the way people think.
Right.
And we're getting them one ready mix producer at a time. We're getting them one finisher at a time. We're getting
One
them
specifier.
to say, "Hey, we use this, and let's go look at a
It's
couple floors."
repeatable. It's duplicatable.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
It
Very-
performs
Even-
the same.
And again, this was developed in a part of the country that is has very mild conditions in comparison to places I've been that have horrendous conditions, extremely low humidity, wind,
Sun.
sun,
Right,
hot,
right, yeah.
and cold.
Yeah.
And people don't understand cold is
Worse
a
than
lot
heat.
of times worse than hot for cracks,
Absolutely.
especially with low humidity.
So before we move on for the word disruptive, because I like the word disruptive, but I'd love to hear you talk about it. When we say disruptive, that usually means it's changing a mindset, changing an industry, and what does it disrupt, right? Is there a negativity to the disruption?
Well, gee, Joel, if
Hey, I'm just fishing here. I'm just fishing.
If we replace things like curing compounds that chemical companies have made money on for 30, 40, 50 years, okay, and they're no longer necessary because they don't work, okay?
Why do they not work today?
There's two reasons. The first is they're not put on thick enough, okay?
Application rate.
The application rate, the coverage rate. If it says 100 to 300 square feet per gallon, that usually means it was tested in the laboratory at 100 or 150. What does the contractor put it on? Well, if he puts it on at 100, he's going to have to tear out something because
It's
it looks like shit.
Yeah. exactly.
Sorry.
No,
It
you're
looks-
okay.
It looks like shit.
It's our
okay?
podcast.
And why does it
It's-
look like
It's thick.
crap? It's too thick, it's slimy,
and,
it's
and
white.
again, now you can't get it on evenly. The only way to get it on at that rate is to back roll it.
3H snap roller.
Okay?
Who's going to do that?
No one. They're going to spray it. The second thing is
They're out there
the timing. Okay? If you're pouring an interior floor, from placement to final finish is typically 8 hours. Am I right?
Correct.
6 to 8 hours right in there. Well, when is the concrete the most vulnerable? Before it's had time to gain strength to protect itself. And that's
Moisture loss.
the first 8 hours. Well, if you put the curing compound on at 8 hours, what'd you do? Nothing.
Put a Band-Aid on it.
You put a Band-Aid
check
on
the
it.
box.
You check the box.
You check the box.
That's
In
it.
the
That's all
spec.
you do is check
Okay.
the box.
So we don't believe they work. If you read ACI 308, and again, 99% of the engineers have never read that guideline. It's a guideline.
Really?
It's not a specification.
Right.
But in that, it explains that the concrete needs more water.
Yeah.
And the only way to do that, in their mind,
Is to trap it in.
is to add it to the surface.
Right.
Wet cure, okay? And have it penetrate. But also they tell you that if low water cement ratio, 1/4 of an inch.
That's it.
High water cement ratio, 3/4 of an inch.
3/4 of an inch.
That's all it's
in a
penetrating.
4-inch slab, 6-inch slab,
8-inch slab.
You ain't getting nowhere.
No, right.
What do you water cure?
So again, that's why I am so
Passionate.
passionate
Yes, sir.
about internal cure. Because we keep the water in. And we can put more water in the concrete and it doesn't hurt it. It actually helps it. You know, you get the water cement ratios to a point where now you don't have unhydrated cement that's trying to crack the concrete from the inside. And so that's disruptive. And Joel, anytime you tell an engineer you're wrong, okay?
Doesn't bode well.
So you have to do it with tact and you have to do it with
Data.
Well, I tell a story about why it needs to change, okay?
The narrative.
And then you simply ask the question, are you having problems on your projects? And my favorite answer is, oh, no, we have no problems at all. And
Really?
I said, well, maybe you'd like to talk to F.A. Wilhelm. Maybe you'd like to talk to this contractor.
This big guy, general, yeah.
This general contractor who last year tore out 3 floors.
We've seen it.
Well, that had nothing to do with,
Really? Wonder what.
did it meet strength? Well, yeah, it was 6,000. What was wrong? Well, it cracked and it curled.
Oh. Gee.
Well, gee, would you like to try something? And my favorite thing to do is to offer, listen, let's take your mix and put it here. And let's take our mix and put it here. Okay? And then let's let the contractor finish both of them and see which one he likes.
chooses.
But then let's test it. Let's put the abrasion machine on it and see if
Let's
it
put a
meets,
straight edge on it.
Let's put the straight edge on it and see if it's curled.
Yeah.
And amazingly, I don't know. I think there's maybe been 2 cases where we've done a mock-up and the project didn't use it.
I would say that's probably accurate.
And
in 8
now we have the ability with our new laboratory to actually,
Test whatever we want.
do fields, make batches and evaluate them for finishability, for workability, for durability, for
Wind speed,
surface
temperature. I
abrasion.
love how
And if
you
you
did that
notice
the
in
other
this
day.
whole conversation, it's took a long time to get there. But he is not mentioning PSI.
It's not about.
It's not.
And
It's
again,
not
the
about
hardest,
PSI.
The hardest thing for me to accept was that stronger wasn't better. It's conventional thinking, and it's usually the first slide that I do for engineers.
Well, and I've got to blame my side of the puzzle for the over-design of the ready-mix companies. Because, finishers are finishers, and some finishers like to put a lot of water in it.
They
So
do.
sometimes our mixes are over-designed to compensate
Compensate.
for the extra water that is being placed in the field.
Needs
Yes,
for
and,
finish.
So-
and that was probably the biggest argument that you and I ever had.
Oh, absolutely.
Was about
Manipulation of the mud.
no about over design.
Over-design.
we went 2 hours one day, and by the end, I was pretty much screaming.
Yeah, he's ready to quit.
And
That
Joe,
happens like every day.
and again, when I get really fired up,
Joe
likes,
gets super settled down, right? No?
Joe likes to poke me.
No. I can't see.
He was
that.
just
I
like,
don't
you're just
poke.
like my dad. My dad loved to poke me.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
let's see if we could let little Jimmy stir it up.
Ah, little Jimmy.
And we did. But you finally understood why. If they have a low break, they don't get paid.
They're on the hook.
You're exactly right.
And again, so for if I was a ready mix producer and I was selling concrete to Joe Shetterley, my over design would probably be between 5 and 800 psi.
Yeah.
No more.
Low.
Low because again,
Because you know a good finisher's not going to.
he's not going to abuse the concrete. But there are lots of people
They abuse the concrete.
that are going to abuse the
Mm-hmm.
concrete.
And that is a great way for me to bring in this bucket work. So a lot of people think that my tone and my snippets and all that offend people. And by talking about the industry, when I talk about the industry, it's the whole bucket of people. Whether you're a good producer or a bad, you're all lumped into a bucket. No different than I was lumped in as a finisher.
Right.
I got lumped into being over-designed the concrete. Well, don't over-design it for my cause. I'm not a bad finisher.
Right.
Okay, but I still got lumped into it, and I still got concrete that
Treated
was
the same way.
over-designed.
Yeah.
I harp on it now because when a producer takes it on their own without asking me, they're over-designing it to cause me a problem. When they increase something, that increases my risk in the field.
Well, it reduces their liability,
But
right?
I should be getting mad at the guy that's in my camp. Quit adding water. And I wouldn't have to worry about it.
Right.
And then we wouldn't have an overdesign. Well, there's the disconnect. Mr. Producer, Mr. Finisher, we all need to be talking.
Right.
We need to come to the table and figure this out.
Right.
Okay, why are you having to put more water in this, Mr. Finisher? And you need to take his input. So he's probably going to tell you, by the time it got to the job, it was sticky, it was this, it was that. Well, you've got to be willing enough to hear the truth. The truth of that is the reason it's sticky, it could be because the chemicals are over-designed. There's too many. The water reducer's wearing off, and, and the agglomerations are coming back. And then there's only one thing to do.
Add water.
Add water. Because this piece of the puzzle hasn't educated itself on pot life of the admixtures they're using. They're taking the word from the chemical company, and there's no reason for them to lie. They should be lasting through the pot life, but they're not. So at the end of the day, we're over-designing chemicals here, bringing it to the field, and they're running out of pot life. The finisher grabs them and goes, throw 10, because something's out of balance.
Right.
You
He's
know,
gotta work with it.
Chris Wolf's statement, it will resonate with me for the rest of my life. Water is
the
why. And I tell everyone, every meeting you're going to go to in concrete over a problem is going to be because of water. There either wasn't enough water or there was
much,
too much.
Right.
There's never the
Added
right
to the
balance.
surface or added
but
in the
that's
concrete.
where E5 discovered a product that could help control the water of what you're giving me in the mix and stay there longer.
Right.
And that,
and not have a pot life per se.
yeah,
Like,
it's just
there's no
there.
pot
It's
life.
just holding the water.
Right.
And again, because of bad testing.
Correct.
Okay?
Bad testing.
Bad testing. Okay?
Okay.
Listen to me. Because of bad testing, ready mix people are scared to death that they're going to lose a truck.
Oh, in the field, sure.
Okay?
Yep.
Yep.
So what do they put on the ticket? They usually take 2 gallons of water out.
Yep.
Commercial job, state job, they take 2 gallons per yard of water out of the mix. Okay?
Because they know.
Now, the biggest fallacy in concrete, and Chris Wolf taught me this, is if you put the water in to start with, even if you put more in than you needed, okay,
It'll still turn out all right.
your concrete is going to be stronger. But the worst thing you can do is late water addition. The concrete's been on the truck for 30 minutes because it took 5 minutes.
Drive time.
10 minutes at the plant, drive time. It's usually 30 minutes when the concrete gets there. If you start adding water to concrete, the cement has already started to hydrate.
Yeah.
That's where it goes wrong.
And the beauty of it was Chris did a test, and he did a 3-inch slump, initial water, and then added 30 gallons of water to it to make it a 6. The next truck, he batched at a 9. Out of specification, way too wet.
Sure.
Which one broke higher?
The 9.
The 9.
The water in the beginning.
In the beginning.
Because he didn't break the bonds.
The initial reaction point.
Right.
You're not starting something, pausing it, starting it again.
Now,
Correct.
would a 9-inch slump break higher than a 6-inch slump if the water had been put in first? No. But the worst thing you can do, and especially in air and train concrete, is to add water late. One of the hardest things to get our customers, that's ready mix people.
The ready mix folks.
Yep. Customers
I'll keep my thoughts to myself.
to understand is putting the water in.
It is.
And if they put the water in, and again, so the example I just gave, the ready mix company is scared that if they get a 9 out there, they're going to send it back.
Of course.
Correct.
Okay.
Of course.
Well, you don't want to get a truck rejected, so
Underwater it, add water.
underwater, add on the job, and it's actually worse.
Yeah.
And so, you know,
This vicious cycle.
Well,
right?
and
the one
again-
does because the other does.
Yes.
So who changes first?
Well-
and how can you get the whole?
And who pays for it?
again, once people get to understand how our material works,
Right.
That's right.
we seem to be able to overcome this need to drop 2 gallons of water out to start with.
Well, as you just said, there's a disconnect. I believe our technology is the connection. It just brings the disconnect together. It
can.
balances everything.
It can.
It can.
It can.
Yeah.
But it takes people changing their mindset.
Well, and you've got to see it. You got to touch it. You got to feel it. Because all of us, all 3 of us in this room, we didn't believe. We were not believers in the beginning. I know this guy took a year or more. You, I'm sure, had a path of learning.
I believe that it had about this much, and now I believe this much.
Correct. Now, remember the slab that you carried around from the lapel slab that
Yes.
froze?
Yes.
I remember you carried that thing around, and you would tell everybody about it. And it's like when you see this this product work as efficiently as it does in the field, you're so passionate about sharing it with folks. Like, I've seen something that works. It's biblical.
I'm a disciple.
There you go.
And I'm carrying the good news about nanosilica.
Right.
And that's that is my legacy.
Right.
And again, there are naysayers all over the country.
Sure there are.
And I've encouraged Joe to just ignore them. Don't worry about it because the product works so good in the field, it doesn't matter. I haven't had one place in the country where I used it and it didn't do better than the control.
The original.
Yeah, than what they were used to doing.
What they were used to do.
Absolutely.
And
I will say most of the jobs that we do testing on and everything, the reason why it doesn't go through the job, it's not that it didn't perform. It just didn't perform in the one area that everybody's indoctrinated with.
Strength. Yes.
Because for some reason...
there's probably other reasons, too, that are more
well,
like
no,
kind of under the table kind of things.
well, it could be under the table things and political and all that stuff, but...
Les, it was
Says Les.
an easy way to say no.
Yes. Easy way.
Okay,
Right.
okay.
Get out of jail free card for him? Is that what you're saying?
And again,
Could be.
a lot of what we don't talk about is risk.
Right.
Okay? And we tell them, we reduce your risk. But there's always risk for the first person that tries anything.
The adopters. Yep.
Okay? And so there are a lot of ready-mix producers. There's a lot of engineers. There's a lot of contractors that will say, they don't say it. They go, well, it's not good for this project. But they're watching.
Right.
Absolutely, they're watching.
Well, how many times have
no one's the first anymore. I mean, you got
Oh, my
100 million square foot on the ground. There's 500-600 bridges on the ground.
How many
There's
ready-mix
200
plants?
overlays on the ground.
Hundreds of ready-mix
There is
plants.
no, you can't say now, well, I don't want to be the first one to try.
You know what I
You're
find
not the first one to try.
Hold on. You haven't seen some of the industries that I'm starting to work in. And
Ooh,
We're
he's
getting a
teasing
little
us. He's
surprised.
teasing us.
and we will see if it does. Again, when we only had internal cure, okay, there are certain markets that just it didn't make sense. Okay.
And why would you say that? Like, explain it to the audience here.
Okay.
Like, why wouldn't it make sense?
Let's talk about slip form paving. Okay, not barrier wall, but just regular concrete paving. Okay. Typically, the white pig goes on less than an hour after the concrete is down. So
Let's trap the moisture in.
So it's doing what a curing compound is actually supposed to do. They're
it's
getting
put
it on
on
quickly enough.
Properly.
What?
If it's put on properly.
Well,
Does-
look, until the specification changes,
Right.
there wasn't any way to play in that game. Okay? But there are other applications that, once we had liquid fly ash, okay, it gives us opportunities to use the vibration part of the product, the effect that vibration has on it in concrete to make consolidation that much better.
Particle packing?
So there are particle packing. Part of it's particle packing, but that doesn't explain the effect of vibration. It just doesn't.
And when you say vibration, that's vibration in the truck?
No, that's
vibration.
no.
in-
This is vibration in the application.
The slip board paver, they got a row of vibrators.
That's not all we're talking about.
Oh, you're talking about
I'm talking about all kinds of new things, new processes that work. And again, a lot of them involve water cement ratios that are ridiculously low because of the way the product is made. But
Got you.
it's more dry process.
Got you.
And again, if it works in some of those applications, we just need to find new guinea pigs
Yeah.
to try it. But so far, I'm getting some pretty.
I do find it
positive results.
fascinating that the education process or learning process does take time, as we all know in this
God.
industry. When we start talking to a ready mix partner, ready mix supplier, and it's a little tentative to adopt this early on, it's until they get a specification sent to them. Say, oh, we saw your product is in this. Now let's test it. Now let's see what's happening.
Right.
So it is that risk and liability portion to say,
yeah.
when is a good time to do this?
And again, there have been snake oil salesmen selling
Right.
a bogus crap.
That's why you didn't do this.
Bogus crap for years. Okay? And they claim outrageous
Everything,
things.
right.
Okay? And I remember one of my favorite customers in Indianapolis when I first started talking to him. He stopped me and he said, Jim, if it does all the things that you're saying it does, it's snake oil.
Yeah, I don't
Because
believe you.
I don't
There's no
believe
way.
that it can do that many things.
Right.
These are the two most versatile chemicals on the planet. And with combinations of them and other things, we can do things that have never been done. But again, for a lot of ready mix producers, their favored son is their admixture supplier.
Right.
That's the guy who solved their problems for years.
Right.
And when we bring a different solution that he can't do because of patent liability, it puts them in a funny spot. Correct. And a lot of them just put up their hands and say, we're not interested, until somebody forces them to. Until the
engineer owner groups start specifying it.
Somebody specifies it, or the contractor uses it from somebody else and goes, if you don't, I'm not going to buy your concrete if you don't put it in.
If you don't put this in. I've seen how well it works. I see how it is easy to finish for my guys. We get done at a certain time. We're consistent pours, consistent set times, all those things.
Yeah.
And that's why they bring it to the next job.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, with the traditional mindset of the chemical industry, when there's an issue, we need to create something new for that issue. And so they have repeatedly created new things. And so now there's a catalog of things, right? That you need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You need 10 of these things to fix all your problems. And so when a product like this comes along that can actually fix or
Most
help
of it.
a lot of
almost
things,
almost all of them.
and there's just one bullet, that
No, it's two.
well, yeah, correct. With
It's
singular and blended nanosilica. But that's when you talk about disruptive, because there's such
everything that
wide
we do,
problem solving.
everything that we do, okay, affects somebody. If you're using liquid fly ash and you're taking out cement, that affects somebody.
Right.
Okay.
Or fly ash.
If you're using internal cure and you don't need wet cure blankets,
or a curing
that
compound.
affects somebody.
Right.
Or curing compounds. And that affects big people who aren't very happy.
No.
Okay?
No.
But again, the proof is in the pudding. We've done belt and suspenders for years. And the belt and suspenders, we're better off without the suspenders.
Yeah.
Our material works exactly as it's supposed to.
Yeah, because there's a thought process that I have, whether it's right or wrong, it's my thought process. I look around and I go to a lot of these shows and I listen. Like the other day, I was on LinkedIn yesterday and I seen that they had this paving seminar in Indianapolis. And I look and see that whole room full, and I recognize some of the faces in there. And I'm thinking, these are some highly intelligent people.
Yes.
They know concrete.
Yes. And
with all that knowledge, why are we still having conversations over the same problem?
Well, we've had the same
Why
conversation.
can't we fix it? What's stopping us from fixing it?
I'm 69 years old. I have a bunch of friends in the industry that are my age. Okay, some of them still in, a lot of them not. But I've got a good friend that was in the industry, and he actually worked as a consultant for us, FIC. And he goes, I went to this tech and spec committee meeting last week, and I pulled up the minutes because he was the chairman of the tech and spec committee in West Virginia for years. And he said, I pulled up the agenda for the meeting 20 years ago. And it was exactly the same agenda.
Oh, Lord.
Bad sampling, low breaks, cracking, not curling because it was DOT, but
Right.
The same exact problems that we had 20, 30, 40 years ago, we're still addressing.
So why are we still having those issues?
Well,
I mean, we have technology that is just unbelievable.
yeah, but nobody wants to pay
if
for it.
AI could finish concrete,
I don't mean like it's unaffordable.
No,
I mean
no.
it's there. I mean, like our knowledge of concrete is off the shelf.
You're missing the point. It would involve change.
Oh, change. Yeah, no one wants to change, that's for sure.
See,
Okay, so this is where I get mad.
If we have a problem, okay, and you bring everybody in the room, the first words out of everybody's mouth is, "It's not my fault."
Oh, absolutely. They're all positioning.
And if they bring the lawyers, okay, you're not allowed to say anything.
Zero.
The lawyer says,
It's
well,
not my
it's
fault.
not my fault.
It's not their fault.
So, again, we live in a litigious society. We live in a society that that really, yes, change would be good, but I don't want to.
But like with the cement blends, change needs to be slow.
Well,
right? That's when things get adopted.
If when they rolled the 1L cements out,
right,
they had gone from 4 to 7 the first year, nobody would have noticed.
They would have noticed.
Just like the blade
noticed.
changes.
If you had gone from 4 to
6,
11,
11,
there's a noticeable difference.
Huge.
Again, I think the cement companies made a blunder
Hurried.
that was caused by green.
Are you talking?
You talking about
green?
I call it
plants?
greenwashing's all this
Well,
stuff is.
and
so.
again, greenwashing is a common term today.
It is.
Because
Everyone's doing it.
could we make green concrete without 1L cement? Absolutely.
Well,
can you
yeah,
make-
could we
anything
make-
that lasts longer
Yeah,
is
more
more
durable
greener than
concrete.
something I'm going to be replacing every 10 years.
But I could make low carbon concrete. I was making low carbon concrete
20 years
before
ago,
1L.
you said.
way
20
before
years.
1L. And that is greener than what I can do today.
Well, I'll say we're going to wrap things up.
I got a
here.
quick question,
Well, hold
though.
on.
I got a
I want
quick
to say
question.
something, though,
Yeah.
just to add on to the.
He wants to
The
poke
committee.
me one more time.
No, it's not poking.
Jimmy.
I was on a
poke
phone
Jimmy.
call this week with a $5 billion company.
Okay.
They reached out. And I'm thinking, why are you reaching out to us? You've got all these people running around here in the entire world. The statement from their research development and says, I have not seen anything for 40 years change anything in this industry. I've got the same client using the same this, and it is not changing for him. He wants us to figure
We haven't
something
innovated.
out.
Yep.
He goes, I have been to all of the big players, and I get the same answer. Use this, use this, use this. He goes, you're the first one that has said, get rid of it and do this. And we're getting ready to start a lot of testing with them. And what made me think about that is even in 2016 when I got involved with this and I went to a Department of Transportation meeting.
Yep.
And I stood up there and heard a man pouring his heart out about problems we're having in infrastructure
Yep.
and how he is sick and tired of watching the taxpayers of Indiana pay for these problems. And then I fast forward to today, and that same person is still screaming for the same solution, and yet everybody hasn't changed anything. We've come in, we've changed a few things, but it goes back. This is where the traditional mindset is. They don't want to adopt change.
No.
They just even if it's a great solution, they just don't want to adopt that change. It's not just here, it's everywhere. But I can see the shift in these bigger companies are like, no, we've got to have it because we're dying. They're dying because they're not being innovative.
Right.
And people are starting to wake up, and I'm saying, not the concrete industry, people that are buying the concrete, people that are investing in concrete for their projects
Yes.
are like, we don't want these same problems.
Right.
We're done dealing with these same problems. Can you guys do a fix? I think that's why we're seeing now ternary blends, all this other stuff. 'Cause we're trying to figure everything out. I just, like my dad used to say, son, it's pretty simple. It's cement, water, gravel, sand. Control your water.
Control your water.
That's it.
And again,
Control your water.
I've had a good time, boys.
This has been good. This wasn't nearly as fiery as I thought it was going to be. You know, I feel like, you
I got
guys
my questions.
we're really respectful. This is good.
I mean, Joe and I have fought for years. He knows what disturbs me.
Right.
And again, he puts everybody in the same bucket. Okay, I understand that. But I also understand who buys our material. It's ready mix people. It's and we have new industries that are going to be coming on soon. You know, I think it's wrong to insult people because they're not willing to change. I think you have to say we can agree to disagree, and let the market drive them to us.
Pull them in, right?
Pull them in,
right?
And that's my philosophy.
So maybe a softer.
Joe is more direct.
Yeah, because
I'm a little more tactful.
Correct. Right.
We're saying a lot of the
same thing. And
well,
you
and I
usually
look at
get
it
to
this
the
way:
same
just
end.
because they're hard-headed and change, they're hard-headed and not changing is affecting a person at the end, and that person used to be me.
Yes,
Because they didn't want to change. It changed me. Now, call it the Matrix. When I decided to take the red pill or the blue pill, and woke up and seen the back side of everything, and sometimes it ain't so good. I see that their decision is destroying a company that is putting concrete on the ground, and because of their unwilling to change, is causing this guy in the field thousands of dollars and time away from his family because he doesn't want to change. That's wrong.
Patience, grasshopper.
Yeah, well,
Patience.
Say that to the guys
grasshopper.
on all the Facebook forums that are like, I poured 100 driveways and I have to pull out 20 of them. Who's paying for that? I mean, there are some really, really sad stories.
Listen, there are lots of sad stories, and again,
and who's responsible? I mean, no, we can't blame one singular group.
hold on.
it's not. It's a whole recipe.
It's a simple solution. Yes, just keep preaching the gospel of nanosilica. That's it. It's not about insulting other people. It's about getting them the knowledge that they can change. Okay? Now, when you have an adamant producer that doesn't want to change, the only thing that's going to change him is when his competition or his customers drag him kicking and streaming to the table.
We've seen that. Yep.
And again, and it happens. It
Yes, it
happens.
does. Yes, it does.
You and I have discussed it. God knows how
Hundreds
many
of times.
Hundreds of times. Patience, Joe. And
I'm way more patient than I used to be.
That is true. He has gained in the patience
he has
category.
gained in patience, but
It might be age.
We still have a ways to go.
We all have a ways to go. And I am excited to go those ways with you guys.
Well, that's cool
on this
because
journey.
I'm just going to go ahead and apologize to everyone I offend from here on out. No,
No, you're not either. Take that back.
Time to take 3 drags.
Jim, thank you.
Jim, thank you.
Thanks for being here today. Appreciate you.
We love you.
Appreciate the journey.
We love you.
I really enjoyed the legacy part.
All right. Hey, to all of our fans,
Have a
see
great
you
day.
later.
Next time.